We all need to know something about imagination, and that's the fact that imagination is never accurate. Imagination is actually an underestimation or an overestimation of a possible future reality. And another truth about we human is that whenever we imagine something, we always imagine it in its upsides and not the downsides. But more often than not, when we get what we imagine, we are more often controlled by the downside of what it is that we imagine than the upsides. For example, someone who imagines being promoted eventually gets promoted and now is being preoccupied with the stress that comes with the promotion. Someone who desires to be famous, who desires riches, later on acquire the riches and then being preoccupied with betrayal and fake friends and a lot of things that comes as a result of that riches. And this is why human needs are actually insatiable. This doesn't mean we should not actually dream or imagine, but we need to know that imagination is actually a powerful tool wielded by the soul in an attempt to satisfy its eternal longing. But there's nothing that we can actually get that can actually satisfy the longing of the soul. But in other aspects, there are some things that eyes have not seen, which ears have not heard, which has never come into the mind of any man, that God has actually prepared for those that love Him. And these are the things that can beat our imagination. These are the things that no matter how much we think about it, we will surely underestimate it. And this is actually in two parts. Whatever it is that God gives unto you, it will actually beat your imagination, because the word of the Lord said He's able to give unto us far above what we ask or imagine. So whatever God promises us and whatever God is going to give unto us is the only thing that can actually beat our imagination. And another thing that will beat our imagination is the eternity that God has actually promised unto us. And how do I know this? Because nobody can actually explain the beauty of this world to a baby inside the womb. He has to come out and experience it himself. And the same way, when we are eventually ejected from this world, we will be ejected into a reality that God has prepared for us, that it will actually beat our imagination. We often imagine what heaven is going to be, but I'm sure and I know that our imagination of eternity is always an underestimation, because it's going to be very, very beautiful. That it's only when we experience it ourselves that we see how beautiful and wonderful it is. So there is nothing on this earth that can actually quench or meet our imagination except what God gives us on this earth and the eternity that God has actually promised us.